stop. Don't spend the $1 bills that you see in this video because they're selling online for a ton of money. The last thing that you want to happen to you is to sell your $1 bill without knowing and understanding the actual value of what you have in your hand. In this video, we're going to break it down, tell you exactly what you need to look out for so you never fall victim to another scam or anything bad that can happen to you online. So let's hop into this video with this first $1 bill from 1963. This bill sold for $1,440, and we'll keep this very simple for you guys. Look at this serial number. This is what we call a solid number 3 serial number. Keep in mind, there are tons of different types of rare and cool serial numbers that you could have worth a lot of money. The more unique, cool, and awesome looking your fancy serial number is, typically, the more money it's going to bring. This example, because it's a solid number 3, sold for $1,440. All right, I'm glad we're talking about this one. So this $1 bill sold for $1,500, and you don't really see a whole lot going on. Why would it sell for so much money? First of all, you may notice that the centering is way off. The margins, you can see at the right and the top, the margins are very thick. On the left and the bottom, the margins are very thin. The better the centering is on your bill, the more money it's going to generally be worth, only if there are no folds. So do keep that in mind. Any single fold you have on your bill will decrease its value. So you will notice that this is a star note. Star notes can increase the value, but that's not why this one sold for so much money. To keep it very brief, a star note happens when there's an error on a sheet of bills. They'll destroy that sheet and produce a new sheet with a star. They do this for bookkeeping and to make sure there's no theft and fraud going on at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. So 1988 is an important year because there was huge demand to get out paper money and they wanted to try a new process. So what the BEP did was they tried what we call a web press machine. Now web press machines are the same type of machines they use to produce newspapers in one continuous roll. Typically, the way that standard paper money is produced are in individual sheets. This process can be a bit cumbersome and require a lot of technology compared to a web press machine. So the US said, hey, let's try this out, but it ended in a ton of mistakes and a complete nightmare for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing because it was so challenging for them to get the quality that they wanted. Now there are 3 key indicators to tell if you have a web note. First of all, the bill needs to be from 1988, but here are the 3. Look at Washington's portrait. On a web note, it's going to be more washed out, no pun intended. Second, you want to look at the front plate number. Now a front plate number or plate position will typically have a letter and a number. If your front plate position only has a number, then you have a web note. The last and easiest spot that I personally look at is the back plate position. So on a normal bill, the back plate position is on the bottom right of 1, but on a web note, it's to the right of that motto there on the back. Keep in mind, if you have one of these 3, then by default you have all 3 and you have a web note. If you have a web note that grades very highly, just like this one, then you're in for a treat because your $1 bill just turned into potentially $1,500, $1,920. Okay, let's go on this one. First of all, look at the back plate number. The back plate number, it's in the normal position. That means we don't have a web note, but pay close attention to the size of that back plate number. Look at the size. Now compare it to the size of the front plate number. The sizes are different. That means you have a mule note. Mule notes are when the back and the front should have not gone together. The size of the back and the front plate number should always be the same. Keep your eyes peeled for mule notes because this mule note sold for $1,920. We'll be brief on this one, but let's look at the back once again. Okay, the plate position is in the wrong location. That means we have a web note, right? It's to the right of the motto. Good. Second of all, you see a lot of folds on this bill. The grade is not as good as it was before. This one got a 40 EPQ. The big factor here is 1, it is a web note, and 2, this is a special block run. So to keep it very simple, all you gotta really be looking for on your web note is if it starts with an F at the serial number and it ends with an N. It's called the FN block run. It's a pretty rare run that not many people know about, but collectors go crazy over it. So it being a web note from the FN block is very important. That's why it sold for $1,920. We're hitting you with all the rare ones today, guys. $2,400 for this 1977 $1 bill. This is what we call a Natick test paper note. So back in the day, the US was experimenting a lot with different types of paper combinations to see how well they would handle in circulation. We're going to show you a quick little diagram showing the serial number range of the EH block to see if you have a Natick test paper note. It's serial number 76 million through 80,640,000. Those are the serial number ranges you want to be looking for to see if you have a Natick test paper note. They are very rare and valuable. This one sold for $2,400. All right, $2,880 for this $1 bill. This is indeed a specimen note. Now, I'll keep this story very brief, but essentially, specimen notes, their intended reason for production was so they could hand them out, or I guess ship them, to different countries around the world world that would accept US federal currency. These banks around the world didn't know what a counterfeit bill would look like. So back in the day, counterfeiters would go to different countries and deposit fake paper money to clerks who really didn't know the difference between a genuine and a fake bill. Specimen notes were intended to be given to bank clerks around the world so they would have a genuine example to compare if a fake one was to come in. Long story short, these eventually got out into collectors' hands, and to tell if you have one, you want to look for the specimen stamps, and also a very important key is going to be that serial number. Every single specimen note that I've seen that has a specimen stamp and it's genuine, they have a rare serial number, and they're all pretty much the same. So if you had 100 specimen notes, they're all going to have the same serial number. This one is a quote-unquote fancy serial number because it goes from 2 all the way to 9 consecutively, but please understand that the serial number in this instance does not increase the value of the bill. The big value add here is the fact that it's a specimen note. That's why it sold for $2,880. All right, $4,320. This bill is completely beat up and wrecked, honestly. Very circulated bill. Someone probably kept this in their wallet for a pocket piece or their purse. This is a solid number 1 serial number. You can see that it's just really mangled and beat up, not in the best condition whatsoever. But the big value add here is the fact that it's a solid number 1 serial number, and that's why it sold for $4,320 even in this really beat up condition. Understand, if the condition was higher, it would have sold for a lot more money. Last but not least, we have a serial number 1. This is the big bill right here. This is one we all want to find, especially in a higher grade. This unfortunately has a little bit of ink on the left hand side. It says 50. That kind of is unfortunate because that does decrease the value quite a bit, but still, any serial number 1 bill is going to be a big win for you. So if you haven't already, pick up our completely free coin and currency ebook so you can learn more about these bills. And also, if you're going to sell your paper money, find someone trustworthy. Do not sell it to someone that you do not trust. Do not go to a pawn shop. They will rip you off. Be very careful, please. There are a lot of people out there that want to try to take advantage of you when it comes to your paper money. Do your due diligence. Maybe find 3 currency dealers, get their opinion, see what they all think before selling your bill online. We hope you enjoyed this video. We will see you in the next one.